Hi everyone, Tracy here. Today I thought I'd share with you how I made the cover for my coin envelope mini album. I've had a few requests from some of you on how I made it, and because of one of my challenges this year to myself is I have to do a tutorial on anything you ask of me. Craft-wise, that is. So let's get started. Okay, so you're going to need to have 5 different panels, and you're going to need one for the back. You're going to need 2 for the sides, and you're also going to need 2 for the front flaps or the front panels. Now, in order to figure out your dimensions, because it depends on what size album you make, is the size that all of these measurements are going to change. And what I did was I took my mini book and I figured how much space I want, and then I cut that out. And so for the coin mini, what I have is the back piece. This measures 4 1/4 by 7 1/2. And then I have 2 of the side panels, and the smaller one is 4 1/4 by 2 1/2. And the bigger one is 4 1/4 by 2 3/4. You're going to need one a little bit bigger than the other, and I'll explain that in a minute. And then you're going to need a front panel, and this one measures 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and then the smaller one measures 4 1/4 by 3 1/2. Okay, so one of the reasons why you want one side panel bigger than the other is because you want, well, I did anyway, I wanted my book to overlap on the front. So this panel is raised higher, so this side part is going to be the same width of the chipboard that you're using, that much higher. So that's why one panel is bigger than the other. And then I use the red tape for all the edges because it's really good and strong. And I also use the bookbinding ribbon. And it's a little bit wider, so once I taped it down, I just cut it off. And in order to tape these together, what I did was I took one of the panels, or the same width of the chipboard, and I put them side by side because you want a little bit of a gap in there. You can even have a bigger gap depending on how much you want to give in there. But I just used one of these. Don't put this too tight, or when it bends, it's going to be touching each other. So you need your little gap in there. And then I started right at the tip, and I put the bookbinding down, and I rubbed it. Obviously when I cut it, I didn't cut it very straight, but you'd have it straight. And this is going to be covered with your pattern paper anyway, so you're not going to notice it. Okay, so for demonstration purposes, I just used masking tape. I did both the front, taped all the joints, and I also taped all the ones on the back. And the reason for this is because I want it to look just as nice on the inside as I do on the outside, and I didn't want you to see the raw edges of the chipboard or the bookboard. And then when you close it up, you have your little box like that. And then after I did the binding is when I put the pattern paper on. And just a tip, because I always forget to do this until I'm totally done, is I should have did my closure and then put my back paper on, because if you can see on here, which it looks fine, I'm okay with it, but I put my closure on after I had all the papers put on, and I had to hide the backing of the closure, so I put an embellishment on there. And same with this panel, I did the brad, and I had to put a little embellishment on there to hide the back of the brad. Whereas if I would have waited to do the inside of the papers last, I wouldn't have had to worry about hiding it. But like I said, I'm okay with how it turned out. So I hope this helped you out, and if you have any other questions, just ask me and I will be sure to get back to you. Thanks for joining me. Bye now.